Okie dokie. I am live. Well, happy Valentine's Day, everyone. And when I say to everyone, I mean everyone. To those with love in their lives, to those without. Well, not to the. And by without love, I mean romantic love. Because more than likely, you matter to somebody. Maybe not in that capacity, but it's just as important. I know it hasn't happened for me yet, but well, I was going to say that's not what I'm here to talk about, but actually, it sort of is. I've never been in a relationship, but I have fallen in love twice. And so I thought, since it's Valentine's Day and I've got to commute to work, I might do a YouTube live video and share said experience. So, let's see. I've had plenty of crushes growing up, and enough people who I thought, oh, she's cool, or oh, she's pretty. And in some ways, you conflate a lot of things, like the idea of somebody being cool and them being pretty, and just the novelty of, like, oh, what if somebody liked me together, and you think that's love? It took me a while to figure out that's not the case. But anyway, so I'm not going to give their names. Well, duh, obviously. It's the internet, and if anything yeah, so don't want to be a tool. But anyway, so the first girl, I guess you could say I fell in love with, this happened back in 2010. So what happened was, I was studying, I studied Korean, but back then I was trying to study a lot more Asian languages. I knew how to speak some Japanese, but I didn't know how to read in Japanese the way I knew how to read in Korean. So I had a Korean friend who, well, he did like the ESL program at his school, and he knew somebody um, who was from Japan, and he said, oh, she can teach you. She's agreed to do it. And what I didn't know was that it was somebody who I'd already friended on Facebook. You know, that thing, I don't know if it's like a common practice now, but sometimes you friend people who, you only have a mutual friendship with. I think that's either becoming not so much a thing, or it's gone away already. I don't know. Or maybe I'm just that out of touch that no, people still do that. Um, but anyway, so yeah. So this girl, she agreed to teach me how to read and write Japanese. And I'd been her friend on Facebook, and I'd even sent her a message or so before, just to better get acquainted with her. And so we were scheduled to meet, I want to say it was like on a Tuesday or a Friday, because I think back then I had Tuesdays off. But anyway, I was scheduled to meet up with her and begin my lessons. But anyway, I'd seen her before, and I thought, okay, she seems nice. But there was no idea that I would like her. And so I meet her at this school, this university nearby. where I was living at the time, and I'm in front of the library slash cafe looking around. Or no, wait, that's not how it happened. I saw her standing there, and I was walking up to the library, and I remembered her smiling and laughing within the first few minutes, and I just remember being immediately taken by her. My intention was to learn to read and write Japanese, but after that, um, you know, that stopped being the thing, and I just enjoyed being around her, and yeah, so I enjoyed that, and this goes on for a while, up until maybe it was a pretty consistent thing, and it went on till about May of 2011. We'd have these regular lessons, and I sort of like, I guess you could say I tried to like evangelize to her a little bit. I go to church and stuff for people who don't know. So I never knew how much of this am I doing because I like her and how much am I doing out of the sincerity of my beliefs. And I could never really tell. But anyway, so May 11th, I think it was, or May 7th or 4th, one of those days. So we meet up for the last time, and as a present, I brought her the New Testament in Japanese and English. And I remember before we had went our separate ways, um, she even let me pray for her, which is cool. But embarrassingly, I cried, and if that wasn't a giveaway that I liked her, I don't know what was. But she was cool about it. And I felt like I needed to do something, so I'm on the bus ride home because my car was broken at the time. It was basically done with, but yeah. So I take, I'm on the bus home, and I feel like I didn't do enough. So I called her up, and I said, if you ever reach a moment of crisis, Jesus is there for you. You just have to call out to them. And she's like, okay, thank you. And she was very nice about that too. I'd never been that bold with faith before, but I didn't feel any anxiety. I feel like, okay, I've done what I was supposed to do. And it's been 8 years since I saw her, and yeah, my feelings eventually went away for her, but I still see an old photo or so of her and think, wow, she's still charming. The other girl I fell in love with was this girl from my church that I go to now. I remember I'd been going to the church for about a month, but I'd been going to the English service, and I wanted to go to my college group. And so it was just at the end of lunch, and I go over there, and they're just about to have like Bible studies. And so they put me in her Bible study group because she's a translator for English. I go to a Korean church, and I guess they thought, okay, he'd be a good fit for her. And yeah, so let's see. So busy traffic today. But anyway, so I I remember the guy who's helping me find her. He's looking for her, and then I see him turn a corner, and then I see her coming around the corner, and she looks in my direction. She's got this really big smile on, and I remember hearing her talk, and I kind of felt the spark of something there, like, oh, I could see myself liking her. And I wasn't head over heels, but it felt like there was something there. and she was there for she was there at our church for another 8 months before her visa ran up and she had to go back to Korea. And so, like a year later, a friend of mine, he says, "Why don't you tell her how you feel?" The other girl, I didn't. This girl, I decided to. So I very nervously make. First, I asked her, "Hey, can we do a video live chat?" Which I'm so glad she wasn't able to do. So she asked, "Hey, could you pre-record a video message? But if it's important, I'll try to do a live video." But I'm like, "No, I can pre-record." So anyway, I pre-record a video message and I send it to her, and that was perhaps the most terrifying thing I'd ever done before. Was tell her. I've just basically told her, "I like you. I'm infatuated with you." Um, and I told her I didn't expect her to feel the same way. And in fact, I anticipated her not to, but that I just had to let her know. And 3 days go by, and she sent a very lovely response. There's only one part really where she said, "Well, I don't have those same feelings for you." But she made such a that was maybe only a minute of the video, and she spent so much of it like telling me what a great person I was. And it was kind of a first for me. I never felt so good after a video. Well, I've never felt so good after a moment of telling somebody I liked them, or they found out and then I don't know, there's that thing where somebody finds out you like them and they don't feel the same way, and they're trying to be nice, but she was the only one really who it felt like she saw my feelings as something special. Like, I've let girls know before that I liked them. Although they were polite, they looked like I had told them they had a disease or something, like, "Oh." But even though she didn't feel the same way, it was like she still saw my feelings as something special. Like, wow, that's wonderful. And that meant so much. And the thing that benefited me in a huge way, because that was the most terrifying thing I did up to that point. And after that, I was so much less afraid of other things. And I've been able to do things that I didn't think I could do, totally unrelated to romance, just in other facets of life. So that's my story, or stories. The 2 times I've fallen in love in life. I wonder if the third time will go anywhere in the future, but I think it will. But anyway, happy Valentine's Day. Whether you're with somebody or not, go eat candy